Hi everyone, and welcome to Jab and Move with your host Stephen. And I wanted to make a very quick video just looking at the potential opponents of Anthony Joshua. So, as we know, he got absolutely demolished against Daniel Dubois extremely recently, I think back in September. And since then, there's been the rumours of who he may fight next and what will be happening. Now, it's been spoken about, and I think Eddie Hearn's now said to numerous stations that he will not take on the rematch with Dubois, which I think personally is probably the wisest move. And he'll be targeting a fight sort of May, June time. And it's just looking at potential opponents and what we think would be the best opponent for him, because like I said, we've seen this after the Usyk double header. He lost his way. He did what every other heavyweight has done and actually lost to Usyk. So it's nothing's going to tarnish his legacy there. But I think that burst at the end of the second fight, everything that happened after that, you realise that he had become a bit of a broken man at that time and was really struggling with the sport and having that moment of it not quite working. So when he got out the limelight and he started his rebuilding phase, obviously taking on Franklin initially, I believe it was, after he fought Dillian White. And then we got to Otto Wallin and Helenius, and obviously culminated in Ngannou, which, again, those 4 fights, isolated wise, we thought he's building process, he's getting himself sorted again. But the big point and the big thing that people made of this, and something I spoke about a lot with people, was when he got hit, when he came against someone who was going to put it on him, what was going to be the next move? What was going to be his position? Was he going to be able to get into that dark place and fight? And we think we've seen that, unfortunately, when it came to Dubois, he had his number, and it didn't look like he was comfortable. And for someone who, again, numerous times has filled out Wembley, been big arenas, been big fights, you know, it felt almost like a Joshua homecoming, which I don't agree with, and personally don't think that should have been the case, because at the time he wasn't the champion. But when the fight was agreed and everything, obviously Joshua was the big draw. And even though Dubois is the champion, Joshua's name carries an awful lot of weight, and he is still the bigger draw because of his name and what he's achieved previously. So yeah, I think obviously he had that rebuilding process, and it just didn't pan out the way people thought. People thought he was going to come in against Dubois, beat Dubois, and then become the 3-time heavyweight champion of the world and cement that legacy. But again, he got absolutely battered. And he got absolutely smashed. I think, to be honest, it was almost like if he didn't hang on for the 5 rounds, that if he could have just took the hit in the first round, it was a punch from the gods, you could get that rematch straight away and people would think there's a chance. I think now if that rematch happened, people would think it very much go the same way because of what happened in the 5 rounds after that. And I know people say he rocked him, he did catch him, but was he rocking him? I'm not so sure. I think, again, you heard when I think the McGuigan, when he was talking about it, and they were saying, obviously, go for it now. It's, you know, you've got to go for it in the 5th round. And they were coming back and saying, actually, if he goes for it, he's going to leave himself exposed on his left-hand side. And then Dubois would use that right, knock him in the chin and knock him out properly. And we've seen that unfold. I think 80 seconds into the 6th round. So yeah, it didn't quite work out for him that night, and it leaves him in a bit of a position of where he's going to go next, because he can't afford to do another 2 years of rebuilding. He hasn't got time on his side there. I know he's an athlete, a very good athlete, and I know he's been in exceptional condition for a lot of the fights, and aesthetically he is in prime condition aesthetically. But that doesn't make you a great boxer. You can look like a Greek god. That doesn't mean you're going to be a great boxer. You know, let's look at, for example, the Haye-Bellew fight. Haye there, chiseled, everything, ripped beyond belief, in great condition and great physical look. And Bellew, who wasn't ripped, but was in fantastic condition and primed for a heavyweight boxing match, took him apart in that fight. So yeah, aesthetics isn't everything. And yeah, again, sidetracking there, but going on to the next bit of what he's going to do next. He cannot rebuild. He cannot go and take himself away from another 4 fights against fighters that 2 of them people may never have heard, and 2 that have got questionable records at best. So where does he go next? We've had a look at this, and I think, again, Piccoli was one that was entertained, but he's now got his IBF eliminator with Gabriel that's been endorsed and enforced now, so that's great. That's something that the bout should always be doing anyway, to get those eliminators and get people in those positions to potentially win the bouts. So I'm happy that's been done, because it gives him another shot and it's one more step closer to him having that world title shot. But I think if he would have got in with Piccoli, it wouldn't have gone well for him. So I think that was a option steered away quite nicely for him. British fight with Dillian Whyte, I'm not so sure. Dillian Whyte's been out for a while now, and I like Dillian Whyte. I thought he got left in the dark quite a lot when he was the #1 mandatory and Wilder was playing hide and seek with him for a bit and stuff like that. But then he didn't give himself much justice when he came into Fury. It didn't quite work out for him, and he didn't put a performance in there that was going to show that he was going to be there for years, trying to challenge or be in the top echelons of the heavyweight division. So it'd be a great British dust-up. Yeah, I think it's more of a 50-50 than what it was previously when he was on the rebuilding process. But I still feel it wouldn't hold that gravitas to get him to that next level again and getting him back into those world title shots. No one looked at as well is Wilder, Deontay Wilder. So obviously I think now it's a busted flush. Whether he comes back or not, it's up to him, but I don't think he should. There's two fights against Fury were absolutely like destruction. He got battered in those two fights. The first fight obviously a bit less because Fury was still finding his feet and getting back, and I still think Fury won that fight, but it became a draw as it was. But the next two fights, that second fight was brutal, and that third fight was just a continual beatdown, and obviously culminating in a knockout in the 11th. So, do I think Deontay Wilder's the answer? He's the name, but I think most boxing people now would see that Deontay Wilder is now past it. I think with him, the fight has left him. It is official. The fight has left him. He does not look like he wants to go into a ring and step in with anyone else. I thought it was questionable when he was against Parker, and I thought, is he going to do it? But Parker ran sort of circles around him really and upstaged him there. And I thought maybe that was, blip. Parker's a really good fighter, so nothing bad there. But that one in Saudi, the 5v5, and Zhilei Zhang and smacking him out like the way he did, he almost looked like he didn't want to be in there. And he just sort of playing hide and seek again, and then when he turned around, he just had his back to him, and then he turns around and gets smacked by Zhang. That was it. I think that's the moment you bow out. Take your money. You made multi-millions. Take your money. Go and live with your family. You got your faculties and stuff attached. Go away, enjoy your life, and do something else. Step away from the ring. It's time to step away from the ring for Wilder. So, who else is there, and what do I think he should do? I think personally, as an opponent and a commercial front, there's only really one winner in this, and that for me personally would be Zhilei Zhang. Joshua versus Zhilei Zhang in China. That man is a national hero. They love him. He is a god to a lot of those people. And I think you put Joshua in China against Zhang, not only are you going to make a shit ton of money, like ridiculous money, you can have everyone in this country wanting to watch it. So, there's going to be a lot of pay-per-views still. I know it's that sort of time, but in the morning, some people will be able to watch that. It's been proven by, American fights and stuff. If the fights are there, the audience will pay to watch it and will get up to watch it, even if they record it. But I think that is a phenomenal fight, and I think with the financials, it's a great choice for financials. You're in China, you're going to make the money, you're going to make the big bucks. But even with the opponent, he goes out there and he does beat Zhang. I don't know really. For me personally, it's very much a 50-50 after what we've seen against Dubois and what we've seen with Zhang recently, with Parker and stuff as well. I know he came back Wilder and stuff, but with the Parker fight and stuff as well, I think he's big. He's a brute. He can fight. He can punch like Dubois can, but the athleticism Dubois shows is incomparable compared to Zhang. Zhang is not Dubois when it comes to athleticism, so he's a slower target. slower moving target, and something I think Joshua could take advantage of. So for me, I think Joshua versus Zhang in China is the way he should go. I think commercially and fight-wise, he's going to get some respect back. He's going to beat an opponent that people would class as a live opponent right now, someone who can upset the apple cart. And then I'll catapult him back in again for another shot, potentially for that third heavyweight championship title. Do I think he beats anyone of the top three at the moment? No. I don't think he beats Fury. Obviously, we know he doesn't beat Usyk, and people who turn around and said that he was going to go into a third fight and beat Usyk, I thought were ridiculous, because the first two fights he's shown he was completely outboxed, and Usyk has also shown now not only can he outbox you, he can hurt you. So yeah, a third fight would not be good of Usyk. Fury, again, will we ever get that? We don't know. And he's never, he should not step in the ring with Dubois again. There's losses and then there's demolitions, and that was a demolition job. So yeah, just very quick thoughts. What I think on the Joshua situation, like I say, is looking that he's going to be fighting in May, June time. Be great to see him back in the ring, but I think personally he should pick Zhilei Zhang, and they should take it out to China and make a shit ton of money and see if he can win that. 'Cause if he wins that, he gets respect back, he gets his name back in terms of where he is now, not what he's done, and then he can move on to potentially another shot at third heavyweight championship title. So leave your comments below, let me know what you think, and don't forget to like, comment and subscribe.